In the previous lecture, we learned how to remove columns and rows. In this lecture, we learn how to insert data as a column or a row. We start from the columns. It's actually easy to insert a column. You do it with the insert function. Data.insert, and there are three parameters. First, you give the position you want to insert the new column. In this example, we put it at the very beginning of the data frame, so 0 here. Second, you need the name of the column. We simply call it new column here. And finally, the source of the data you want to put in the column. Here, we copy the data from the city column to our new column. Before you go ahead and hit enter, there are some important differences to note. Unlike most of the functions we have seen so far, the insert function does not return a new data frame. Instead, it modifies the original data frame in place. So even if we don't assign data to itself, it's still changed. And because it's not returning a new data frame, we have to manually print it out. Data.head, just for the head. Let's try this out. You can see a new column shows up as the first column. So that's how you insert a new column. Kind of tricky, but not hard. However, things about rows are very ugly. It turns out the best way to put a row in a data frame is to slice the data frame open, plug in the new row, and stitch them together again. First, we need to create a new row of data with exactly the same column name. Info equals, this should be a dictionary with all the column names, including customer ID, customer name, contact name, address, city, and so on and so forth. I just give them random values. Next, you have to turn this Python dict into a data frame object. Line equals pd.dataframe info, comma, and also you should specify an index. It should be an array. We're planning to insert it as the third row, so we put 3 here. Phew, that's a lot of work. But we are still one step away from finishing it. The last step is you cut the data frame open on third row and stuck in our new line. Then use the concat function to stitch them together again. pd.concat, and first goes data.ix from beginning to row 2, followed by our new line, and followed by data.ix from row 3 to the end. The concat function is not an in-place function. It does return a new data frame as the result, so don't panic here. Now execute this, and you can see our made up customer on row number 3 now. However, you find 2 number 3 here. That's because when you cut the data frame and move the second half behind, the index of that data frame was not changed. So we can solve this issue by resetting the index. Just add at the end .reset index and drop the original index equals true. Now do this again, and the index problem is fixed. Phew! I know it's a daunting process to insert a row. Luckily, you barely need to do this. Most of the times, you don't need to manually create your own data, and even when that need happens, it's probably easier to do it in SQL or just in Excel. Then re-import it into pandas. But just in case you need it, it never hurts to learn a new skill, right? That's all for this lecture, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next lecture.